Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial here on this channel. So today's tutorial will be making this beautiful pattern A-line dress right there on the thumbnail. So this A-line dress, I'm going to show you how to go about it, and I'm using my small scale drafting as usual to demonstrate this. So this is the neckline for the front dress, and for the back dress I'll just make the neckline because we are using this pattern for both front and back. Okay, so I have both front and back, that is center front and center back, so I will use them together. All right, so I'll be marking out my what I have on the shoulder line. So this is my shoulder line, but I'm not going to create any armhole for it because the sleeve is cut together. So the lines we need is our chest line. I'll just mark out the chest line for the small scale. So I'll just mark out the chest line. Then the next line we'll be needing will be the full length. So for this particular dress, when making it, you need your full length. So I'm using this pepper to serve as the full length. So here is my chest line, and it's on this chest line I'm going to impute my bust circumference divide by 4. So my bust circumference divide by 4, I'll mark it at that point. And I'm going to add an ease of 0.5 inch to it. So this is my ease of 0.5 inch. So whatever I have here, okay, so what I'm going to do is to have my bust divided by 4 plus ease of 0.5 inch. Then I'll come over to the full length, and I'm going to measure I'm measuring my hip divided by 4. This is my hip divided by 4 for this small scale. And I'm going to add my A-line extension. I'll be making my A-line extension 4 inches. So it all depends on you. So this A-line extension, you can see I'm connecting it all the way from the bust. So this particular one is not the type you connect from the waistline, okay, because if you look at this, the dress, you notice the dress is actually free. So from this point, which is the shoulder line, I'm going to measure my sleeve height. So if you want the sleeve to get to your bicep, it's all your choice. So your bicep measurements, for most biceps, we have 8 inches. So at that 8 inches, I'll drop by 1 inch. Remember, this is small scaled. So if you are doing this, just follow video instructions. So all the way from the neckline, I'm going to connect my 1 inch shoulder slant. So my shoulder slant right now is connected, and I'm going to make a straight line. I'll just use dotted line because this is not the actual line. So on this line, you'll be taking the circumference of your bicep. If your bicep is 15, divide by 2 will give you 7 inches. So like I said, this is small scale, so I'll just mark at this point. So from this point, I'll come in by 1 inch, okay, for my sleeve. Okay, so the sleeve lays well for me, and I'm going to connect this either to the chest line. Okay, if your chest line is 9 inches, so you can connect to the chest line. You can also decide to connect below the chest line. So let me use the chest line for my connection. So this is my chest line for my connection. So if you want it tight, you can use your biceps, meaning that you can go a little more up. But if you want it free, you can connect it to your chest line. So here I'm going to come out by 1 inch, and I'll come down by 1 inch. What I'm trying to do here is to connect a regular kimono Okay, so that part is usually connected with a curve like this one. So that is your regular kimono. So now I have my A-line dress, and I'll come up on this A-line dress. I'll come up by 1 inch because I don't want that part pointy. So once I come up by 1 inch, I'll position my pattern ruler this way to cut off the excess. So it's time for us to start creating the pattern, which is the main business of this tutorial. So I want you to note that for you to create this pattern effectively, you are going to take the measurement of your shoulder measurement on the vertical part to your hip. So if this is your hip position, I'll just mark out hip position. This is my hip position. So I need this hip line right now because I want to create this pattern design. So to create this pattern design, I will just come from my natural neckline. First of all, I'm going to create the normal neckline I want. So the normal neckline I want from my natural neckline. Alright, so I will be explaining what I did right here once again, okay, for proper understanding and explanation. So what I did here was I took my chest line. From my shoulder line, I measured my chest line. That is what I need. Chest line to the length of the gown. So after that is done, I measured my bust divided by 4. So this is the mark of my bust divided by 4 plus 0.5 is added to it. Then I measured on the hem my hip divided by 4. So here is hip divided by 4 plus 4 inches extension. Okay, you can see my 4 inches. So from that 4 inches, I placed my ruler this way and connected all the way to the 0.5 inch of an ease. So from my shoulder, I measured the length of my sleeve. Okay, so I used 8 inches because the bicep measurement is always at 8 inches. And I came down by 1 inch. Okay, so on this 1 inch, I placed my ruler from mid to the neckline for an appropriate shoulder slant. So this sleeve is a cut together sleeve. So since it's cut together, on this point, I placed my ruler straight. But getting to my chest line, I came in by 1 inch. Okay, so the sleeve relaxes well and fine. So I connected it straight to the chest line. And for the curve of this kimono, I measured 1 inch out from my chest line, and I measured 1 inch down on that point. So I'll be able to connect the kimono curve, as you can see. So that is exactly what I did. So now I want to create this pattern, and the pattern for this dress is going to go this way. So I choose to come up 2 inches above the hip line, and from the neckline I'm going to expand my neckline. So I will just come out by 1 inch for my neckline, and I'll come down by 1 inch. So this is a small scale drafting. So when you are drafting that, you can come out by 1 inch, or your desired neckline can actually work for you. So but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'll just go in by this neckline. So I've created my neckline right there. So from this neckline, I'll come in by 1 inch again, so that once this is opened, we'll be having this design at 2 inches. Remember, the center front is on fold. So I'll connect this to this, as you can see. I'll just go ahead and connect. So that is exactly what happened in that dress. So exactly this pattern, that is what you are going to use for front and back cutting of this A-line. So all I'm going to do now for this A-line dress, this is what I'm going to do. I'll just go ahead and cut my pattern. So you can choose to have a zipper at the back, okay, because of the neckline is not actually that wide. Or you can also make a button loop for it. If you don't want to zip, you can make button loop. So right now I'm going to cut out this on this. So I named this, you can use two different Ankara 1 number 1 and Ankara number 2. Ankara 2. So you'll be using different Ankara for this. So but make sure you cut the back before the front, okay? Please, I've already cut out that, but I believe you understand what I mean. So this is the pattern for this A-line. So when I will be placing this A-line, to have this play effect for my A-line, I'll just come in. I'll be using a fabric now to demonstrate to you how you can place the A-line. Okay, so I'll just come in with this fabric. So if this is my fabric I'm going to use to cut this, to have that flare effect, you are going to place your fabric on bias. So I place my fabric on this is the whole fabric. So to place it on bias, just form a triangle. You can see me forming a triangle with it on the tip of it like this. So I formed the bias, I placed it on bias. So this is what it means to place a fabric on bias. So once fabric is placed on bias, you just come in. The part on fold, you place the part on fold. Okay, so let me just, this is my part on fold. Okay, so I'll just turn it this way and place on my pattern. Can you see? So once I place on my pattern like this, I'll just go ahead and secure it with my pin. I'll secure this part with my pin. Then the next thing I'll do is to do what? Is to cut out what I have right here on this pattern. So if I'm cutting it out, I'll just go ahead and add my 0.5 inch seam allowance. I'll go ahead and add my 0.5. So once I come to the side, this is the side of the dress, I might decide to do 1 inch. Okay, then on the hem I might decide to also do 1 inch. So this is what it means to cut on bias. So the same pattern is what you also use for the cutting of the back. So at the end of the day, by the time you sew your the other part of the pattern, so by the time you sew, you cut out this Ankara, this is what you'll be having. Okay, so the neckline continues for one part. Can you see that? So this is actually a very beautiful design. The dress is actually beautiful. So you just use another fabric for this and you join this and continue the neckline. Okay, so this is it. So you add your seam allowance as well. Once you add your seam allowance, it will be able to join, you'll be able to join it to this. And the sleeve, like I said, is going to be, it's already cut together. Okay, so that is how we come to the end of this tutorial, and I believe you learned a lot from this class. So if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you for coming and see you in the next class. Bye.